now. Simon Calder, travel correspondent at The Independent, who I speak to every single day, it seems. Good morning, Simon.
Happy New Year, David, to you and all your listeners and viewers. And, well, unfortunately, if the travel industry had resolved to put an end to disruption, I'm afraid 2025 has started very badly. I'm looking particularly, we just heard that there's some really bad weather, particularly in the north of England. TransPennine Express, which runs intercity trains in the north of England, has said that on pretty much any line going across the Pennines, that's from Liverpool or Manchester to Hull to Newcastle to Sheffield to Scarborough to Redcar to York, there you cannot travel, they're saying. There are no trains and no replacement buses. Northern, which runs shorter distance services, say flooding between Manchester Airport and Manchester Piccadilly is thwarting things. You can't travel basically between Liverpool and Manchester. And we're here in the 200th anniversary year of the passenger railway, which of course we invented, and not many people are going to many places. Just warning that engineering works are continuing. So, for instance, the Liverpool Street Station is still closed, and no trains running at all on ScotRail. That's not because of the bad weather, although a lot of them would be cancelled if they were running. It's simply because that's what the tradition is. No trains on New Year's Day in Scotland.
And just in terms of that Liverpool Street, is there any sense when that might reopen?
It's due to open tomorrow, and to be fair, the closure at London Paddington and London St Pancras, they opened on time, and this will be hopefully clearly in time for people to get back to work with a spring in their step, commuting in from lovely Essex and Suffolk and Norfolk and Cambridgeshire. Meanwhile, I'd love to say that everything's working calmly on the in the skies, but I'm afraid that's not the case. It's not, as far as I can see, anything to do with bad weather, although if you are, for instance, coming into Manchester Airport, you'll suddenly find that there aren't many trains running because of flooding, so that could be challenging. We've got a combination of delays and diversions and cancellations. So, well, where to start? A couple of long delays coming into Manchester Airport. Qatar Airways from Doha, that's 5 hours late. That's going to mean that passengers out to Doha are also going to be late, and I fear lots of misconnections there. In the London area, Virgin's flight VS8 from Los Angeles to London took off as normal yesterday afternoon, local time in California. By 10 o'clock in local time in Chicago, it had diverted. I've been trying to find out why. Obviously, everybody's safe, but people, instead of spending their New Year's Eve in flight and arriving at Heathrow this morning, are instead in hotels in Chicago, a place none of them thought they would be seeing the New Year in. And I'm seeing lots of cancellations in and out of Heathrow, 28 of them on British Airways, and then one on Lufthansa and one on Swiss. It's difficult to tell, and I can't say at this stage whether those are fresh cancellations or they were just cancellations because the airlines thought, well, frankly, nobody's going to be travelling at 7 or 8 o'clock on a New Year's Day, so we'll cancel that rather than fly an empty plane. So, yeah, wherever you're going, it's not looking great. And on the ferries, well, again, nothing sailing much in Scotland, but it will be tomorrow, and that's when we're going to see disruption. And as the Met Office is saying, and as we've been hearing, that's gradually going to kind of spread south. So from what I can see, if you are lucky enough to live around the Wash, so Lincolnshire, South Yorkshire, Norfolk, then there's a good chance you won't be caught up in a weather warning pretty much everywhere else in the country. Rain, snow, high winds is going to make it a slightly grim start to your new year if you are trying to travel.
Simon, what great news. Happy New Year.
Sorry.
Happy New Year, though. Thanks ever so much. Always a great pleasure to talk to you. Simon Calder there, travel correspondent at The Independent. I've just seen 100 flood warnings now in place around the United Kingdom. Of course, please do check before you travel.